Today, we will be looking at these two different rigid body motion questions where we will be looking at an application of moment of inertia in order to calculate the acceleration of the object. We have a yo-yo, which behaves like a solid disk of mass m hanging from a string. As the yo-yo drops, it rotates while moving downward without slipping, meaning it only rolls and does not slide like this. We want to determine the vertical acceleration of the yo-yo. The difficulty is that the tension in the string is not known beforehand, because the object is rotating while being supported by that same string. So the two unknowns here are the acceleration and the tension, meaning we need two equations that we will solve together. The first equation comes from the rotational idea similar to mass times acceleration, meaning torque equals moment of inertia times the angle acceleration alpha. But what is creating this torque? The tension in the string pulls at the edge of the yo-yo, and because this pull is not through the center, it produces a turning effect. The rotation happens about the center of the yo-yo, so the tension acting at a distance equal to the radius r gives the torque that makes the yo-yo spin while it moves downward. So basically, the tension in the string creates the torque. Let this tension be T. Since the yo-yo rotates about its center, and the tension pulls at the outer edge of the disk, the radius r gives the lever arm. So the torque is the tension T times r, and the moment of inertia for a solid disk is 1/2 the mass times the radius squared. Now for the case of pure rotation and no sliding, the angular acceleration alpha relates to the linear acceleration a by a equals the radius r times the alpha. So the alpha equals a divided by r. Replacing the angular acceleration with this expression makes one radius cancel out, leaving the tension equal to 1/2 mass times acceleration. Now the second equation comes from the vertical force balance. The weight, m times the gravity g, pulls the yo-yo downward, helping the motion, and the tension in the string pulls upward, resisting the motion. So weight minus tension equals mass times the downward acceleration a. Solving this relationship for tension gives T equal to mg minus m times a. Now we have two expressions for tension, one from the torque relationship and one from the force balance. Setting them equal allows us to remove tension entirely. This gives 1/2 m times a equal to mg minus m times a. Move this ma here to get 3/2 times ma equals mg. The masses cancel out, and multiplying both sides by 2 divided by 3 shows that the acceleration a equals 2 divided by 3 times the gravity g. Real yo-yos usually have 2 disks and a narrower central axle where the string actually winds, which changes the calculation slightly. That variation will be handled separately, but for this simple case with the string on the edge of the disk, the acceleration is 2 divided by 3g, and that completes the first question. In the next question, we will see how a solid cylinder of mass m and radius r rolls down an inclined surface with angle of inclination equal to theta, and the surface is having friction, but the coefficient of the friction mu is unknown. Here also note that the solid cylinder is moving downward without slipping, meaning it only rolls and does not slide on the surface. Now, because the object is rotating as well as translating, we end up needing two separate relationships. One that deals with torque being equal to the moment of inertia times the angular acceleration alpha, and the other is F equals mass times acceleration a. Our job is to find this linear acceleration a. Again, think what is creating this torque. The torque is produced by the friction between the incline and the surface of the cylinder. To understand the motion, we first look at all the forces involved. The weight, which is mg, acts straight downward. This weight can be split into two components, one parallel to the incline, which is mg sine of the angle theta, and one perpendicular to the incline, which is mg cos of theta. This perpendicular component mg cos theta leads to the normal force N from the surface, which pushes outward and is also equal to mg cos theta. Because there is contact between the surface and the solid cylinder without sliding, a static friction force Fs appears, acting opposite the direction in which the cylinder would slide. The friction force equals the normal force times the coefficient of static friction, so it becomes mu times mg cos theta. Now, without this friction, the cylinder would not be able to roll. It would simply slide down, so this friction force is what creates the torque. The torque is produced because the friction acts at the edge of the cylinder, at a distance equal to the radius from the center of the cylinder. So torque becomes the friction force Fs times the radius r. The moment of inertia of a solid cylinder is 1/2 the mass times the radius squared. Again, because there is no sliding, the angular acceleration alpha is equal to the linear acceleration a divided by the radius r. When we substitute that here, the radius in the torque expression cancels nicely, leaving us with a relationship that connects the friction force to 1/2 the mass times the linear acceleration a. Replacing the friction force with this, we get a connection between mu g times cos of theta and half the acceleration, after canceling the masses. Next, we will write the force balance equation along the incline. The component mg sine of theta tries to accelerate the cylinder downward. The friction force Fs acts upward along the incline, resisting this motion. So mg sine theta minus mu times mg cos theta equals the mass m times the linear acceleration a. Again, the masses cancel, leaving g sine theta minus mu times g cos theta equal to the acceleration a. This way, we have two relationships connecting mu and a. To solve for the acceleration a, we will eliminate mu. From the torque relationship, mu equals a divided by 2g cos theta. Putting it here gives us g sine theta minus g cos theta times a divided by 2g cos theta, all equal to a. The g and cos of theta cancel in this second term, simplifying it to a divided by 2. Moving a over 2 to the right side gives g sine theta equals a plus half a, which becomes 3 over 2 times a. Solving for a gives a equal to 2 divided by 3 times g sine theta. So the final acceleration depends on the angle of the incline. The steeper the incline, the larger the sine of theta, and therefore the larger the acceleration. The coefficient of friction does not directly appear in the final result because its role is just to provide enough torque so that the object rolls without slipping. In later problems, we consider situations where there is not enough friction available, in which case the cylinder would start slipping instead of rolling. But that is part of a different discussion that comes later in the series. Now let me know in the comments what will be the relationship between mu and the angle theta. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Also, you can support my channel by joining our community and becoming a member. So good.